You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
I look good. I got big energy every day. Let's go!
And he is dicked.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
That's right.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wolldog, sitting with my buddies, Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
Hey, brothers. How you doing, brothers?
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
And Kyle, the coach, Duggan.
It's so awkward every time we do this. I wish that our like boxes popped up as you introduced us, because I just sit here like this while you're talking and introducing Kevin and just waiting for my
What do
turn.
I do with my hands?
It's pretty, yeah, it's very Ricky Bobby.
It's okay. It's okay. You're the coach. You're not the showman. That's my job. I'm here to make sure that everybody
And
looks at me. Focus
and
on
I
me,
serve no
folks.
purpose
Nope.
whatsoever.
I might just start doing this.
And there he is.
And there he is. Oh,
I didn't
coach,
think he would
there
be
you are.
here. All right, folks. Well, lots to talk about this week. Plenty of things going on around Bolt fam. The biggest news dropping out of the LA Chargers. Those of you who listen, we had previous episode with Taylor, who unfortunately had his house burned down. And I think one of the only things he saved was like a Derwin James jersey and a handful of other things, obviously, and his whole family, thank goodness, is okay. But the Chargers organization caught wind of this and invited him out to SoFi. And man, if that was just so freaking cool. The video shows him walking into the equipment room, the store there, and boom, Derwin James is just like right there.
Dude,
to
it's like, what's up,
greet
bro?
him.
Supermarket
Crazy.
sweep. What you want? I got you.
Oh my God. Can you
Crazy.
believe it? That's just such a cool thing. So awesome to see Taylor, get to meet Derwin James, to get some great swag. Anybody that's following his Twitter has seen he's already got it like framed and ready to go.
The crazy thing with that, Antonio Gates, I haven't seen him in a hot
dude.
Pretty
minute.
cool, yeah.
When he
And
said
he-
that, I was like, he said like, oh, blah, and I was like, did he say Antonio? Like,
Yeah, he did.
Antonio Gates? Like, he's just hanging, he's just chilling at SoFi
Yeah,
Stadium?
and then there was like him walking out in the new stadium, like saying, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh wow, if I had a time machine, I could go get a 10-year younger Antonio Gates and put him on our team. That'd be so rad.
See, it's you don't know what you got till it's gone. That was just an awesome thing to see. Really heartwarming to see the Chargers take care of both fam
cool.
and Taylor especially. Just awesome to see.
He's a good guy, and I'm glad he's getting back on his feet and his family, and hope they're doing really well. And
Big
he's
time.
got some dope stuff to wear this season. We'll say that much.
Yeah, he's got plenty to wear. So if you see a guy dressed head to toe in Chargers gear in Arizona, it might be Taylor.
Yeah, it's probably Taylor. Yeah.
Looking at around the league, some people, it's been soft in the news department. Julio Jones was the big talk of the town, and now everything's kind of quiet.
This week got a little.
It went down.
There's nothing else to talk. It's like June 1st has to come, and then
Right.
And unfortunately, that's when this is going to go live, and we're of course going to be late to the scoop. But by the time you hear this, you probably know where Julio is.
Yeah. So, but it's also kind of been like that Western standoff. Like everybody's got their gun. Like, all right, who's going to get Julio?
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm like refreshing my Twitter at least 5 times a day, going like, okay, what did I miss? Anything happen?
Yeah.
And it's like
the draft
crickets.
all over again.
Exactly. Well, you just
Is
got
that
to
a
ask yourself
Western
one
whistle?
question. Yeah.
Adam picked
I was
up.
trying.
I had no idea what you were doing.
You're just like, why are you whistling? We're doing a
Don't worry,
podcast.
we're film guys. Don't worry about it.
you old folk in your westerns.
It's from like the 60s, so you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're super right.
Yeah, well, that's why we went to film school, right? Okay,
Camp.
so as all right, let me bring it back. It's been a soft news week, is my point. So people have been talking about, current players that are out there building stories. I mean, even with the Julio thing, like everybody's like, oh, Patriots are the favorite. Oh, Rams are the favorite. Oh, Chiefs are the favorite. Oh, and it's just like, nobody knows. So like everybody's just coming up with their own stories.
Yeah, and Julio doesn't have a say. It's not like everyone's like, "Oh, Julio,
Right.
come play with us." Like, he does not have a choice. He does not have a no trade clause. The Falcons are going to send him to probably the place that they don't think is going to be a competition for them in the NFC.
One
So it's
would
like,
hope, yeah.
all this talk is like no one knows. And
Yeah.
I will say the Chargers are kind of fading on the Julio talk. It's time for Ninja to attack.
That's probably why they're going to end up getting him,
Yeah.
is because they are fading in the talks.
Yeah.
Like, if they don't call him, like most of their draft, the guys they draft, he's going to get them.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what they do. They don't have any contact. You have no idea what the Ninja's doing. So we'll see.
We
still
all
have hopes.
we all know loose lips sink ships. So
Yeah.
Tommy T's got the tightest lips in the league, if you ask me. But anyways, my point being, there was a bit of news talking about Justin Herbert, of people grasping at straws, building stories that don't necessarily exist, but talking about Lamar won the MVP in year 2. Patrick Mahomes won the MVP in year 2. I think Herbert is about to rip the league apart. That is Peter Schrager.
I like Peter Schrager.
Peter
I
Schrager's
like him.
always
He's
good on the
board.
Chargers. Yeah.
He's on board.
He takes
He's on
care of
board
us.
hard.
Yeah, hey,
and,
hey, Peter,
you know,
don't
it's
go
nice.
looking for a job at Pro Football Focus because you will not
do
get
it.
hired.
Yeah.
No,
With
they
that
don't
kind of
like your.
take.
They won't. They don't like your kind here.
They will pull
Nope.
clips. They will do research, and they'll find out what you've said about Justin Herbert. So,
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. I mean, it's like that same thing with the Buccaneers getting their Super Bowl win and all of what happened with the Chargers and the Buccaneers, those similarities, and being like, well, the Chargers could be Super Bowl contender. Now it's like, well, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert could be MVP next year.
And it also goes to that dialogue of sophomore slump, right? Everyone just assumes that every quarterback has a sophomore slump, but those two won MVPs in their sophomore season. So I just feel like everyone's so hardcore in the Justin Herbert sophomore year. Well, there's got to be a drop off. Like, no, there does not have to be. He could be the
Doesn't
MVP
have
of
to
the
be.
league.
No, there's no contract that says that you have to have a sophomore slump.
I'm just so ready for some real news. I'm just ready for
Big
it.
time.
This hypothetical world we're living in right now.
Kevin hates him. Kevin hates any type of hypothetical situation. Don't ask about it. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. We don't want it.
I'll entertain him.
I want
God,
facts.
they're kind of annoying.
No, Huggin wants facts. Huggin only hugs facts.
Yeah.
He doesn't hug theories. He doesn't hug
I'm here for the
hypotheticals.
hard news.
Yeah.
Hard news.
Hard news. He's like the Turco files. It ain't right. So just another, we still got to wait and see what happens with Herbert and the entire new coaching staff. And speaking of the coaching staff, and speaking of trying to build more stories out of nothing right now, Odds Shark is the Twitter handle, has the betting projections for the Coach of the Year odds. And right now, sitting at the top appears to be our boy Brandon Staley, followed closely behind by Kevin Stefanski, Sean McVay, and Sean McDermott. So, and then it
Where's
goes down
kneecaps?
from there.
Where's kneecaps on here? I'm not seeing
Campbell?
kneecaps.
Yeah, I don't
No
see
one
any
has much
Campbells
faith
on
in
here.
anything Detroit Lions. You got to win
Because
games to win Coach of the Year.
He's gonna be in jail after week 1 when he's eating people on the sideline.
For assault and battery, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you hear the story he was on? Pardon my take, and he's talking about he wants to get a real lion and put it in a cage on the sideline.
I have heard that.
That would be the
like,
best.
dude, that's entertainment right there. It's so ridiculously stupid, but that's entertaining. Like, at least Detroit's gonna have some things to enjoy over there. If it's not gonna be football, but it'll be something.
Right. I thought about it when I keep reading these stories about Campbell and all the fucked up shit that he keeps saying. If that was our coach, how would we feel right now? Like,
bummed out.
No,
I mean,
no, you would not. You're shamelessly.
that's
you would
what
be
I'm saying,
That's
like-
a great idea. Let's do it.
we should get 10
God,
lions
you
in
know
the
he's
end
so
zone.
loud.
If Staley came out and said we're gonna have whatever the opposing team, we're gonna have that locked up in a
We're
dungeon.
gonna have Tesla coils firing
gonna
lightning
be
over
the
the
coils,
field
yeah.
and through people.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be kind of cool.
It's a cool
That's exactly
idea,
our
actually.
point. We think that would be sick.
We'd find
but-
a way to
sick.
make it cool.
Yeah, we'd find a
Well,
way
we
to
have a-
twist it and make it cool.
We have a cool team name. We're not the Lions.
Right.
That's lame.
Would
Lions
we?
are pretty cool?
If
That'd be pretty
the-
sick to have a lion on the sideline.
that would be pretty freaking sick.
Yeah. That's
Halftime, they take
college
him on a
football.
leash.
Like the Longhorns have their
The
Longhorn
boat
on
out.
the sideline.
Right.
Georgia has Ugga the Bulldog, and Oklahoma rides around in a carriage at halftime.
That flips over occasionally.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video? That shit was funny. Hopefully everyone's okay.
Yeah, if you score a touchdown in Detroit, you ride around on a lion and jump through a ring of fire, and
no one wants to score a touchdown because
instead
they'll
of like
get
a
murdered.
turnover chain, like they have like those necklace turnover chains. They have like a lion mane that you get to put on.
There you go.
When you make a big play.
there you go. That's subtle.
Yeah.
That's subtle.
We have a very easy way to figure out this 53-man roster. All those players in the stadium with a lion. Go.
Yeah.
Who makes it? Who survives?
Yeah.
Literally the Hunger Games.
80 men enter. 53 will leave.
Oh man.
I'd
So,
watch that.
I wouldn't put it past this coach to do something like that.
Well, yeah. It just makes the season that much more exciting to see. I can't remember. The Chargers don't play Detroit this year, do they? Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
That would be a fun game to watch, though, I'm sure. All right, so Brandon Staley sitting at the top right now as far as possible NFL Coach of the Year, which would be, I mean, listen, from our perspective, 100%. He hasn't played a game yet, and he's already leading for Coach of the Year, so I'm all for it.
I think that speaks to the Chargers, though, the quality of our team. We
Yeah.
can stay healthy. Because you don't get Coach of the Year unless you win a bunch of football games. So
I guess that's true. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just based off of the caliber of players we have and our potential to win games, how
And
close we were
improve.
last year and get better. Exactly. Yeah.
right.
Did you guys listen to the most recent press conference he did where he's talking about how he's laying out practices and they're less one-on-one competitions and these things that people usually get hurt in? It's more like really intense, focus on the approach and less possibility for injury. So that was nice to hear.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're innovating from every aspect of this. I mean, not just because of COVID, but because it's like, hey, we're new coaches, new team, and there's the phrase, necessity is the mother of invention. So it's like, listen, if this is our limitations, what can we do? How can we be creative and have a successful practice without necessarily, breaking any possible COVID restrictions, or we can't wear pads right now. What are the different things that we could do? So if anybody's going to come up with it, it seems to be Brandon Staley.
Right.
Well, and they got to the decision they made based on how they're going to run practices because they have a council now. They have the players' council where I don't know who's on it. I'm pulling for Herbie. I think he's going to get that C. But there's a players' council where they decided, like, hey, coach, this is the things that would not be good for our bodies, and they're moving forward in that direction. So seems like a different approach to coaching than what we've had in the past. So it's kind of exciting to see, players getting some input and then seeing how that will translate to bodies staying healthy. Because at this point, let's try anything because we need to keep our guys healthy.
Yeah, big time. We don't want any players having any situations like Derwin had last year. Like, it's just, do not get hurt until it's game time, and even then, don't get hurt. So yeah, great stuff to see from Staley. And then anybody who kept an eye on their Instagram account, apparently Tom Telesco had an Instagram live interview session. I think they were welcoming questions from other fans that were able to submit
it was like
questions.
an AMA, but everything but Julio. So he'd talk about anything except for the Julio shit.
Everything except for what could potentially happen, at least in that regard. So, but he did.
Tommy strikes
Tight-lip
again.
Tommy, I'm telling you,
Super tight.
tightest lips in the league. So he did talk. I mean, they asked about Julio, and his quote on that was, if another GM was out there talking about one of our players under contract, I wouldn't be happy. I would never talk about players on other teams. I would never do that. You'd love to be transparent. I will say generally there's so much that goes into signing a player and not just the name of the player. If we sign a player, we are buying their future performance, not what they've done in the past. Which is, that's an interesting perspective on
What have
that.
you done for me lately? Nothing. No contract. Boom, boom, boom.
So,
Yeah.
so when he says that, what do you think that means? Because all you can ever base on another player from another team is their past
can never
performance,
trust-
right?
You can never trust anything that Tommy T says.
He's such a ninja, dude.
Just breadcrumbs on a trail to nowhere.
I guess, yeah.
you don't know. Like, it's fun to listen to his interviews because he's our GM, but I don't know, what can you really take out of that?
Exactly. I mean,
You could go negative and be like, oh, well, recently he's been hurt a lot, and you're like projecting what a guy's going to do in his 30s.
Right.
Maybe he's like he's against it, but then again, maybe he's throwing people
That's
off.
giving away too much, apparently, if you
drive
said
stuff
something
down.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Julio Jones. I feel like if this is gonna happen, he's gonna come out of it with some stupid deal where it's just like a 3rd round pick, and then we have Julio Jones.
That
Like
would
something
be
crazy
wild.
will happen
The more-
if we land him.
yeah.
So I don't think they're gonna spend too much, but it would have to really fall to them in some kind of weird ninja thing.
We'll see what happens, but definitely Tommy keeping tight lips there, and I think having fun with the question as well. One of the other questions that came up is in regards to a player that we've talked about in the past, one that we've been kind of holding out for, fingers crossed, maybe this will happen. Come on, man, you can do it, Tommy. If anybody can do it, it's you. But somebody asked about Melvin Ingram, and Tommy said he's almost a legendary Charger, 4th all-time in sacks. In terms of bringing him back, we haven't discussed that internally in a long time. I wish him the best.
Yeah, that's telling. That's like he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's adios.
But
So
it's nice to hear that from Tommy T, so we can kind of build our expectations around when he signs with the team. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I feel like if he would have signed earlier and we didn't hear that, it would have been a little bit of a shock, because we think that there's some negotiation going on. We talked about it like for 4 weeks in a row now.
Exactly.
But there very clearly is nothing going on. So he's going to sign somewhere else. So it's just
Right.
time to allow that to start to heal.
Right, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know
Right.
who's talking to who, so we're just live in hope and die in despair as we normally do. But now at least Tommy is giving us that opportunity to, I guess, start to mourn and and deal with the loss of Melvin Ingram. That
Start
he
our
is-
stages of
Exactly.
mourning, yeah.
Of grief.
Let's get past anger and depression and everything like that. Let's get to acceptance and understand that Melvin Ingram probably isn't going to be coming back to the Chargers, unfortunately. Because we do love him. I mean, he has been productive. Last year wasn't the greatest, but if he does continue to play football, which honestly, I'm still curious to see if all the players that are in the caliber that they are going to continue to play this next
There's a
NFL
lot
season.
of guys out. There's still a lot
still
of
a
big
lot.
name free agents out there, man.
No, I just think the market for him is probably not what we thought it was. Like he's like in high demand. Like he's walked in and out of 2 places. We thought he was stealing playbooks and shit, which is the fun.
That would have been
idea.
the fun idea, yeah.
But I just don't think I think he expects a lot more money than they're offering him. And he's just going to hang out and wait until somebody's desperate. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this whole situation.
Yeah,
Well-
he's at the point of his career where a 1-year deal is not a good thing.
Right.
You know,
And
like, that just makes him 1 year older and 1 year less relevant. So
right. He's got a family. He's got a side career. He's not, sitting there twiddling his thumbs waiting for somebody to call. He's got other things. He's got other pots on the burner.
being patient. Yeah.
Right. And he's being patient about it. So honestly, I'm curious to see if it comes to a situation where not just him, there are still other high caliber players that are on free agency. How many of those players just don't play next year because there's no team willing to pay them the amount of money that they're asking?
I don't know. I don't.
They're
I
gonna-
think they end up
they're gonna play.
signing because you don't play. Like I said, these guys are getting another year older. That
Right.
could be the end of the career if you don't play and go put up numbers.
Could be, but I mean, these guys are making millions of dollars. It's not like, oh man, I don't know if I can pay my rent this month because I
You
didn't
never know,
get
man.
signed
These
by a
guys-
team.
They
That's
get
true.
into
Big
trouble.
rents.
A lot of them get into trouble. Yeah,
That's true.
Their rent is not like our rent. They
That's
have
true.
4 homes and those mortgages need to get paid. So
That's true. But I mean, like I said, Melvin Ingram at least has a side gig, and
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be hurting for money for a while.
he'll play somewhere. He'll play somewhere this year.
I think
we'll see.
it's that injury thing, man. That when people become desperate, they'll sign him. Like people are going to get hurt in training camp. Not our players, but other teams' players.
There you
will.
go. Thank you.
And then
Not our players. Definitely not.
So I think he's going to sign somewhere. It's just going to be who's desperate enough to give him what he wants. And is it, like Kyle said, a 1 year or 2 year thing? I think he's looking probably for 2 and some moolah,
Guaranteed money,
which
yeah.
not people aren't really wanting to do with the cap space this year.
Right. Yeah. We did find out, or we did hear that the cap space will go up next year. I think I saw 220 or something like that, or it goes up 20
Incremental
million.
though, it's going to be slow gain back to where
Right.
they were projected.
So, but at least we now know that it will increase next year. So they can at least plan for that, sign some of those contracts that we've talked about in the past where it's like, this first year, listen, trust me, we're good for it. We're only going to give you 500,000 this year, but next year we'll give you 20 million or whatever the deal, whatever obnoxious deal it happens to be.
Some stupid accounting.
Low up front, high on the end. So we'll see what happens. But yes, Melvin Ingram, we love you, dude. We wish you luck. We hope you find a good team to play with.
So to like wrap up this whole Melvin Ingram thing, I think that I don't know. It sounded like a compliment, but not really when he said he's almost a legendary Charger. Like the almost is such an odd choice.
Well,
you're trying to pay him compliments, he's almost great, but not quite there.
I mean,
it's weird. I don't know. I felt weird about it.
You can't help but be like, he's the fourth. So is the fourth in anything quote unquote legendary?
To be legendary?
Yeah, he didn't medal, so there's no legend there.
Yeah,
he didn't medal. He didn't make the podium.
When I heard it the first time, I didn't really think about it like that. But I guess it was a little bit of a dig. Like if he was legendary, would you have kept him?
He'd be on for another 2 years.
I don't know that he wanted to necessarily dig, but it's just like, is he really legendary? Like, I don't want people to be like, whoa, you think Melvin Ingram's legendary,
No,
dude?
right.
What about all these other guys?
No, like 10 years from now, is that still a guy that you talk about as like one of the all-time greats?
Like Sean Merriman. Are you talking about him like Sean, his dominant stuff? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. He's had some great seasons and obviously been in that position for.
Because like Phil, legendary. Junior Seau, legendary. LT, legendary.
Legend.
He's not in that class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Justin Herbert,
great player,
on his way to legend.
On his way to
almost
to second year MVP.
1 year legendary status. Not yet. We'll give it to him.
No, that's Derwin James right now. Apparently, he's the 1 year legendary.
1 year.
But then also to wrap up Tom Telesco's interview, he said on the kicking situation, there's competition everywhere on special teams. It all has to get better, top to bottom. Whole new plan on special teams. That's going to be a major story during training camp to see how that all pans out.
Good.
No one's safe.
Yeah.
No one's safe.
Nobody's
Good
safe.
answer. Good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to hear, Tom.
Yeah.
Show me nobody's safe. Ding.
Show
all
me
right.
potato salad.
So, yeah, knowing how many kickers are out there competing with Badgley, you couldn't not say that and say like, oh, no, yeah, he's fine. Because then what's the incentive for the other guys to even try then if that's the case? So yeah, great answer. All right, folks. Well, now it's time for us to look on over to Coach's Corner.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
All comes down to today.
You take this helmet and you put it right in his numbers, okay? I want to see nothing but snot bubbles in his nose.
A lot of people want to blame coaches for a lot of things.
Nobody puts coaches
trade up,
And we shut them down because we can.
It's because I believed in you.
And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Let's do it.
Okay, so in Coach's Corner today, we're going to reach into the bag of Tom Telesco interview questions and kind of dissect one of his answers. One of the questions that was asked of Tom Telesco was in regards to Brandon Staley, and this was what he had to say about Brandon Staley. He's so passionate about what he does, and that comes across immediately. His ability to teach. He can really teach football. We've already seen this on the football field. He can really teach others football, which is really your assistant coaches. That's how you build a cohesive team and a cohesive staff. So when he says something like that, Kyle, what do you take away from that in regards to, your experience as a coach? And have you heard a general manager say this about a coach, and then also including the assistant coaches? What do you take away from that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. I think mostly, so the idea of being able to coach something, we all know that just because you're a great player doesn't make you a great coach. You know how to do it. That doesn't mean you can go and actually translate that into someone else understanding it. Obviously, Staley's background with his dad being a coach teacher, his mom being a teacher, the idea of taking a big idea and then making it simpler and saying it in a different way, I think is what we're now coming to see, or what Telesco's coming to see in the way that he treats his staff. Because there's one, you could say it like explain a concept, explain a technique to one player, and they're going to get it perfectly the way that you say it. You can say it very clearly, concise, the way you've always said it. But then if you go try to coach another player and use those same terminology, they're going to look at you completely lost. So the ability to coach, I think, is being able to go player to player and come up with different ways to get it to click. Different drills, different classroom time. Some people are visual learners. Some people are hands-on. Some people are just, you just need to tell them and they get it. So it's very much like being a teacher. How are these players going to be able to pick on it most? But being a head coach, he's coaching coaches. So to coach a coach is a whole different ball game, right? Because now you're not coaching just concepts and techniques. You're coaching how to coach concepts and techniques, right? So like I said, the difficulty in coaching is you may have to coach it several different ways or explain it and teach it several different ways. Now he's having to help his coaches figure. So it's a whole trickle down effect, and it's just not an easy job. In my opinion, I worked as both a position coach, a coordinator, and as a head coach. Head coach, the hardest part is getting your coaches to coach what you want. If I go with a group of players, I can figure out how to get them to do what I want to do. But it's very difficult to get a coach, let him go off on his own, and know that I coached him up so good that he can now coach it to somebody else. Because like that's the old idea that the way that you know that you've mastered something is that you can teach someone else how to do it, right? So a first-year coaching staff trying to get these new concepts and ideas, I could go teach a player how to do it, but that doesn't mean they have mastered it to the point that they could go coach somebody else. So when I'm coaching an assistant, I have to get them so proficient in what we're doing that they're so confident that they couldn't only go out and do it, but they can go out and coach it. So I think that's one of the hardest things of being a head coach is getting your staff all on the same page. And that's why you see in the NFL, these staffs stay together. Because a head coach doesn't want to waste time bringing on somebody new to teach them all these things and coach them how to coach in their scheme. So a lot of the times, even if they're working at below average level, it's just like, this is easier than going out and getting somebody brand new that I then have to put all this time into, and we're back to square one. So that's huge that Tom Telesco's already seeing that in his head coach. And there is something also that's you can't put into words. That's kind of a cop out in some ways, but when you are around someone, you know right away if they are a leader, if they command a room, if people listen, and players know right away if a guy doesn't know what he's talking about. If he's up there just blowing smoke and trying to fake it till he makes it. This guy's he's got it. He seems to have got it all under control. He's coaching his coaches. He's not. It doesn't sound like he's stepping on anyone's toes, or he brought people in that don't mind getting their toes stepped on. But yeah, that's the hardest part of coaching is I need to get this inner circle of my coaches so at a mastery level that I'm confident that they know how to do what I need them to do. So it's huge to hear from our GM already about our coach.
So I guess my question is, as somebody that didn't play football, when it comes to these different coaching techniques, as far as like, okay, well, Brandon Staley coaches this and this coach coaches that, is it really necessarily like apples and oranges different from one coach to another? Like, is it mostly just terminology, or are there such instances where it's like, oh man, this is like, he is changing the game of football. He is turning it on its head and it's like completely different. Like, how big of a hill is that to climb to teach something differently from one coach to another?
And that's the thing. I don't know if it's as much X's and O's, because that's what we think of, right? We think just X's and O's because that's what we see. Coaching is more than X's and O's. Football is football. You can adjust and tweak here and there. There's no revolutionary defensive idea that hasn't been thought of already.
Mm-hmm.
There really isn't. Like, every once in a while, there'll be something new, right? Now that offenses are passing much more, you adjust. But every defense is doing that. Every team is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of getting the best out of your players, but in the way that you coach, right? In the way that he's up there coaching guys like, okay, if somebody messes up, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
What's the consequence? If someone doesn't show up to practice, what's the consequence? It's all those little things of how you treat your players, the way that, hey, I want you to coach this way, not I want you to know these X's and O's. Yeah, that's part of it, absolutely. But how do we treat our players, and what's the culture of our organization? All of that is what he's having to disseminate to his coaches, that then has to go out to the players as well. Like that building that what's the word I'm looking for? Culture, of course, obviously, duh.
We don't know enough about that.
Culture. It's not easy, because all the coaches have to know what that is and how to execute it and how to make it happen. So that's really more of, because every NFL roster is stacked with talent. Every NFL roster has coaches that know what they're doing. But how do you get everyone on the same page and be able to make sure that culture is consistent?
Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. Yeah, great to see Telesco recognizing that in Staley. Thank you for explaining it like that, because really all that we've seen as fans is the leadership qualities that Brandon Staley has just in communicating to us. I can only imagine how he's communicating it to the players, and thereby communicating it to the assistant coaches to make, I mean, honestly, like, it doesn't seem like there should be, like, everybody should be on the same page. There shouldn't be like, what did he mean by that when he said,
he's very direct, very clear, you know exactly what he wants. So
how many kneecaps did he want me to bite? I can't remember. So excellent. Well, thank you, Kyle, for breaking it down for us. Bit of Tom Telesco interview. If you guys haven't checked it out, feel free. It's on Instagram, I think, right? You can rewatch it on probably like an Instagram story or something like that.
Yep.
It's a great interview, and just getting answers to some of those questions is excellent, because as we all know, Tom Telesco tightest lips in the league. We move on now to Bolt Insight. Let's see who we got.
All right, guys, we are really lucky to have Manny, the co-founder of Thunder Alley and president of Bolt Rachos. What is going on, Manny?
What's up, my guy? Not a whole lot, man. Just getting pumped up for Southern Cali Thunder Alley tailgate coming up.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to hear all the details from you about this. We just want to know what we're going to do pre-game. So I'm pumped, man. So before we get started on that, when we talk to everybody for the first time, we want to find out, how did you become a Charger fan?
Absolutely, man. So in my family, you're born a Charger fan.
Yeah.
So, my family's from San Diego, so they're all diehard Charger fans. And I live in LA. I'm from LA, but, being born, you don't have no choice. You're a Charger fan. So, growing up, I've always been a Charger fan since '74 when I grew up, and still am, diehard till the end.
That's awesome. So what was that like, you being in LA, them moving up closer to you? That must have been a bonus.
You know what? I mean, I used to make every trip, to Qualcomm. Well, back then it was the Murph.
Yeah.
When they played games, it was a family weekend, because we, go visit family and then head out to the game on Sundays. So missed that aspect of it. But when they came to LA, a lot closer to me now.
Yeah.
So I can see them a lot more. I can go to the OTAs. I can go to the season, training camps and whatnot. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good finding that glass is half full to the whole thing, and then that's a good one to look at.
Absolutely, definitely.
So let's talk about the Bolt Rachos, your organization. You're the president of. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do. Absolutely.
So we're LA's largest tailgate group in LA, and we've been around for a while. We started off with a group of us, just kind of getting together at El Compadre's restaurant in LA. And we just kind of grew from there. We were always there. We were always watching Charger games on Sundays, and having some beers, tossing some beers back. And, people were like, he has a bunch of Rachos. I'm like, nah, we're the Bolt Rachos, we're diehard, intoxicated for the Chargers. So that's how the name started. And so, we basically do barbecues and set up, fundraisers, with the Chargers at times, and try to do what we can, to support the Chargers in any way possible. And that's how we kind of got started. And we just, we've grown from there. We've grown, and got a lot of members under us, and we've been lucky enough to be able to be a co-founder of Thunder Alley.
Well, perfect segue. Tell us what we're in for this upcoming year, because we want to know. Like, we were like, for a minute there, like, they didn't know where parking was, if we could even do tailgating in this area. So like, I saw the news kind of come out on Twitter that like we got a plan. So, and they're like, we got to talk to Manny. He's the man that knows what's going on. So, what are we in for? What's going on?
So before I get into that, let me get you a little background on how Thunder Alley got started.
Yeah,
and then I'll get into that. Because a lot of people were like, well, how did it get started?
Yeah.
So what we did is, we had a big barbecue in LA, and we got together and we invited all the biggest tailgate clubs in San Diego, Bull Pride and Swoop and D and some others, and brought them down and said, hey, look, we have a plan. This is our plan. We want to just bring everybody in together, bring the San Diego support, bring the LA support, merge as one, kind of form like Voltron, get the best pieces out of everywhere,
Nice.
and form like Voltron and just make a massive, tailgate. And they all shared the same vision, and they were like, yeah, we're definitely all for that. So that's how it started, with that vision. And we didn't know what was expected because, we had lost a lot of fans and stuff. So we didn't know what to expect.
Sure.
But once we hit that first tailgate, man, oh man, it was over. It was all uphill. It was all downhill from there. I mean, it was just, people were just raving and ranting about it. We won all kinds of Morton Steakhouse awards for it. So it's, yeah, man, it's definitely a scene to be at. You know what I mean?
I went to the Texans game a couple years ago at StubHub. And it was like the drum corps and like the food and like the drinks, and it was like just everyone was loving on each other, and it was like the best feeling to get with other Charger fans.
Oh yeah, it's a come together for all, for everyone, and we do, we welcome everybody. It doesn't matter if you're an opposing team member or whatnot. We welcome everybody. It's just about having a good time and really coming together and celebrating the Chargers.
100%. So what are we in for this upcoming at SoFi now that we're at our palace? Like, what is the Thunder Alley going to be like?
Right. So we're still getting some of the logistics under, in order and whatnot. But parking wise, we'll be knowing here coming up in the next week or so. We'll be knowing exactly what lot we're going to be at, and we'll be disseminating that information to the club members, and then everybody, from the public from there can buy their tickets. But that'll be happening within the next week. We'll definitely know what lot we're at. But as far as I know, as far as from talking to some Charger insiders, there's going to be several lots for tailgating, but we're going to be focusing on one lot in particular. Don't want to give that out too much right now, but as soon as it opens up next week, we're definitely going to make sure that the public knows about it and that they're a part of it. And it's going to be, we're engaged, just like it was at StubHub. I mean, we're going to go full out Thunder Alley. Just like we did at StubHub, and there's no stopping us. There's no putting a break to it. I mean, we're going full-fledged on it.
I love it. And it seems like our fan base is kind of growing too. So I'd imagine this Thunder Alley is going to get even bigger and bigger and more people there, because Herbert and all the crazy stuff that's happening is really bringing a new excitement and juice to, our fan base.
Oh, I agree 100%. It's when we started this, we started with 5 groups in Thunder Alley. Now we've grown to a little bit over, I believe there's 8 or 10 groups in Thunder Alley now. So it just grows every year, and more people get involved, and more people want to be a part of it, and they want to make it bigger. So, and with Herbert coming in and the fan base growing, it's just going to make for a fun time, man. It really, really is.
All right, man. Well, we're so excited. We just got our season tickets, and we're going to be there at the Dallas game. So hope you're ready, because I'm coming in hot. I'm ready for some Thunder Alley, man.
Yeah, man, bring it in. Come on in and say hi to us. Stop by the Thunder Alley tent and the Botracho tent. I got a shirt for you, man. And
sweet.
You guys want to do a live podcast from there? You guys are more than welcome to do that as well, man.
Done. Sign us up. We were trying to figure out where we're gonna do it, so that'd be perfect.
Yeah, perfect. We got a full tent there and a big old tent, and you guys have enough space than what you guys need, man.
Awesome, man. Well, honestly, Manny, thank you so much for your time, man. It was so great meeting you and giving us all these details. We're really, really pumped for the future of this crazy stadium and all this tailgating and all these amazing games we get to go to.
Oh, absolutely. And as soon as I get more information and it comes out, I'm gonna definitely let you know about it. Definitely, pass the word down to you so you know exactly where we're gonna be at. But just just look out for us and just know that it's full-fledged ahead and full steam ahead, and we're coming hard.
Awesome, man. Well, we will share it to everyone that listens, and we will make sure we get it out there so we can get as many people in Thunder Alley as humanly possible.
Sounds great, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
Let's get Boltoxicated, toxicated. Let's get Boltoxicated. Manny's got me fired up, dude. I'm ready to go run through a wall right now. Let's party.
Dude, that sounds like so much fun. Like I've not experienced any form of tailgate with the Charger clan. So this is like,
it's a lot of love.
I am ready. My body is ready, folks. That's awesome.
No matter what happens, my body will be ready.
My body will be ready. And the concept of doing like a live podcast from Thunder Alley,
so fun.
Be still my heart, man. Like I don't know I don't know if my body is ready for that aspect of it, but I'm definitely ready to go and experience everything that Thunder Alley has to offer. So thank you, Manny, for showing up. We really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a great interview. I mean, just one more reason for us to be excited for next season is to be able to experience all of this with all the other Charger fans. It's going to be so exciting, dude.
It's so fun. Like so much work goes in and time goes into doing things like this. And it's all because of your support and love of a football team.
Yeah.
You know, like us, the amount of time that we put into this podcast, like creating Thunder Alley and working with other people, and like you don't get anything really from it. So it's like you just do it because you love the team, and it's like that's just the coolest, purest form of community. It's so cool.
That's the one thing we all have in common, and it's a beautiful thing. So awesome. All right, well now it's time to look on over to Fan Focus.
All right, guys, we're here with another Fan Focus, and we are super excited to have Michael Soto from Oceanside. What is going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Thank you so much for having me on, bro. I'm super stoked to be here.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. We're super excited to have you. So, you know the drill. We want to, when we talk to everybody, we want to find out how you became a Charger fan. You're actually in San Diego. So how did you become a Charger fan?
Hell yeah, man. So, actually growing up, I was always around it because my uncle has always been a diehard Charger fan, but I never really bought into it until it's going to make me sound like a big time bandwagon fan. But in 2006, my dad he wasn't a Charger fan either really, but he got some free tickets to the Chargers Steelers on Sunday Night Football. I'm sure you probably remember that game. Chargers wore their powder blues and whatnot. And that was like my first time ever being in a football environment. And I just fell in love, man. Like I got super into the game, watching LT play. Antonio Gates had a touchdown. Malcolm Floyd had a touchdown. Like it was awesome. And then our section was full of Charger fans, and there was one Steelers fan there that was just the perfect encapsulation of what Steelers fans are, just being super obnoxious, super annoying. The Steelers at one point were up like 10-0, and I just remember this guy just would not shut up, and it was like pissing me off. I became really emotionally invested. So when the Chargers came back to beat the Steelers, I was sitting there giving him crap too, just because like I was so fed up with him the first half. So it was just an awesome experience going to that game. And after that point, like I just fell in love with the Chargers. I followed them the rest of the season, experienced my first like real heartbreak that year, obviously as well in the playoff game. And yeah, man, just never turned back. I've been following them ever since super closely and became a big time fan. And I just love the Chargers, man. I live and breathe them for sure.
That's awesome. It's funny sometimes how you some people pick on your team and it makes you even more like, oh my God, I love them even more because I'm defending them. You know what I mean? It just takes it to the next level.
Man. Yeah, I think that's why I love Justin Herbert so much, because people pick on him so much. I guess by people, I mean PFF. I see that stuff on Twitter, and it just boils my blood. So I'm just like, I love him even more now because I feel like I'm having to defend him all the time, which sounds ridiculous after the season that he had. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely, man. People talk smack on the Chargers, any of the players and whatnot, and you have to defend them, and you just become even more enamored with them for sure.
Well, it's our job now. He's our family, so we gotta protect our boy.
Exactly.
So we were talking a little bit before we got started, and you have season tickets to this season. So how pumped are you for that? Like, what are you most looking forward to seeing at SoFi and all that?
Oh man, I'm super pumped, man. So actually, I got to go to that event where they invited the fans to come.
Oh, you did?
And whatnot. I did, yeah. So I got to see my seats, and SoFi is amazing. It is beautiful, man. It's crazy. I mean, obviously, like being in San Diego, Petco Park was the nicest stadium I've ever been to. SoFi, it looks like a spaceship, man. It's just so wild. It's so nice. And then our seats are like, I feel like we got pretty good seats. They're pretty high up there, but they're still like a great view. Get a great view of the screen, a great view of the field. And just being there and when I went, Austin Eckler came out to talk to the fans, and he just got us all super pumped up and even more excited to come to games this season. So I'm just hoping with COVID and whatnot, restrictions aren't going to be that big of a deal. It sounds like they won't be.
Yeah.
But I'm just super stoked to get there, man. That stadium is beautiful. And just to know that I'm going to be going there more than just a couple times a season to actually go watch all these home games, I'm just super excited to be around the fans, be in the stadium, be in the game and whatnot, watch Justin Herbert live. So yeah, I can't express how excited I am to be able to have season tickets, man, for sure.
Yeah, it's rad. It's like, this is the first year, because my brother and I just got him. It's our first year having him, where it was like, we weren't looking at the schedule like, oh God, I hope we can get tickets for that. It's like, all right, well, we have all the tickets. Now what do we want to do with them? You know what I mean? It's
I know, man.
Different mindset.
It's awesome too, because like, you know, you see online like people trying to get tickets and they can't. You know, they either can't get tickets or the tickets are just like ridiculously overpriced for single game. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I got all the tickets and I didn't really pay that much for them.
Yeah.
Per game basis, you know. So yeah, it's awesome, man. It feels really great to have season tickets for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's also a big thing for us is like, we're not gonna be able to make a few of them, so we're like, we got to get these tickets to somebody that will represent us well. Because I just like, the worst feeling is going into your home game and seeing so many of the other teams fans. It sucks.
Yeah, I know. So it's funny because I got my tickets with my brother-in-law, and so we have two, and we have some other family that got some as well. So it'll be like a good group. But I have another uncle who's a Raider fan, big time Raider fan. And he asked me and my brother-in-law if we'd be willing. Oh, you're good. Yeah, I know. Trust me. I'm aware. Yeah, we don't watch games together anymore because I love them, but I hate them at the same time. Pretty hard to Raider games. But hey, so he asked us if we'd be willing to like sell him our tickets so he can take his son or my little cousin. And I was like, nah, bro, hell no. Like,
I love it.
Even if I wasn't going to go to that game, like I would not give them to you. I'm sorry. I love you, bro, but I'm not going to let a Raider fan take our seats and just create more of a Raider presence. You know, family, trust, respect. You know how it is, man. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like when you have season tickets, there's like the reputation. Like, these are my seats. People know where I sit. So if whoever comes there reflects poorly or good on me, so it's got to make sure you get the right people in there.
Exactly, man. 100%.
Well, let's just chat real quick off season. Like, what has been your favorite thing so far this off season? There's been a lot of going on, so it's like a big net to kind of catch what your favorite thing was. But what's been the thing that stood out to you so far?
Yeah, well, you know, it's a tough question for sure because so much has happened. But I would say just watching what happened unfold on the draft, or in the draft, I should say. I was really hoping that we could get Rashawn Slater, and then like my dream scenario would be that we got Rashawn and Asante Samuel Jr. And in no scenario in my mind that played out did we ever get both of them without some kind of a crazy trade. So the fact that all happened without the Chargers having to trade up or give up anything really just completely blew my mind. And it was just a dream scenario. And I was so hyped on draft day when that happened, when both those things happened. I couldn't believe it, you know, watching the board and whatnot. Rashawn Slater, seeing him fall, and I was like, there's a chance we might get this guy. Like, there's no way without trading up. And then that happens, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see if Asante Samuel Jr. falls to us. And I was like, there's no way that's going to happen too. And boom, it happened. So I was just, you know, Tom Telesco's lucky surfboard, man. Like, holy crap, I couldn't believe it. So that I was just so hyped on the draft and whatnot. I would say that was probably the most exciting thing that's happened this offseason. Obviously, Coach Staley, I've been getting super hyped up on him too. But just as far as a singular event, the draft was awesome.
Yeah, we definitely looked at those first 2 rounds like the ninja. I don't know how ninja he is or if he's just the craziest lucky guy, but
I know, man, it's crazy. Yeah, I love him.
It's awesome. So, hey, Michael, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was such an awesome time meeting you and chatting with you, and we definitely got to hook it up at one of these games. Hopefully, the Cowboys game, we can hook it up.
Absolutely, man. Thank you again so much for having me on, bro. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure, brother. Okay, I love it so much that he won't give tickets to his uncle and his little nephew.
So good.
It's what you got to do, respect. Man. Yeah, family trust, respect. We can't. I mean, I love them for doing it. It is what it is. You know, take care of your family the way you want to. But like, there has been too many previous seasons, especially with us being at StubHub Stadium, where we've been out fanned by the other team.
I will have my seats empty before I contribute to that BS.
Exactly.
For sure.
I will eat all whatever $600 of those tickets happily and not allow any Raider fan to sit in my seat.
Yeah.
I was over we have a family friend that lives down the street from us, and I went over there, and she's a Raider fan, so I don't go over there often, but I was over there, and And she was like, "Oh, you have season tickets? Do you have tickets to the Raiders games?" Like, sure as shit, and I'll be there.
Yep.
You're not
And
getting
guess
anywhere
what?
near any of those.
You
seats.
ain't getting them. Yep.
Nope.
I know this guy's name's Jack. Last name shit. You're getting none of it.
Yeah, you get the nacho tickets.
Yeah, get nothing.
Well,
Didn't get anything.
Yeah, so that's good. Good for you to stay strong on that, Michael. We respect that, and we our family trust respect on that. We we appreciate that. So thank you, and thank you for stopping by and talking to my man Huggin. It's just always great to see more new fans, new faces.
I want to bring this all together. So we got to hang out at Thunder Alley. Let's combine Bolt Insight and Fan Focus. So we got to get it all together, Michael. So it's going to be rad.
That'll be quite the treat. So excellent. Yeah. All right. Well, now, folks, it's time to look on over to the one, the only, the Craig Experience.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on in, man. Kick your feet up.
Oh,
Craig Experience.
hello there.
Make yourself at home. Got some stuff to talk about, right? Moving on. Oh. Tom, what are we doing, man? A second round pick is all it's going to take? Just a second, right? I'm sorry, a hard second, according to Bleacher Report. I don't even know what that means. I don't really want to touch that because we can go a couple of different directions, and I'm not the most mature. I can make a buttload of jokes off of that, but I'm going to stay away from it. Anyway, CC gang. Yo, yo, yo to the rest of the Bolt fam. What up? It's your guy Craig in Texas, and welcome to another edition of the Craig Experience. And again, Tom, TikTok, what are we doing? At this point, I'm going to assume what I've been assuming, that the likelihood of this going down probably isn't very high. I am the shamelessly positive realist of the crew. And I don't even know if that makes sense, but I like the way it sounds, so I'm going to roll with it. Julio should absolutely be on the table for just a second round pick. Hell, I don't care. It could be a second. You can throw Josh Kelly in there. I mean, I still like the guy a lot, but this is Julio freaking Jones we're talking about, man. And I mean, maybe even a later to mid-round pick. I don't care. Just don't let it happen for just a second round pick. And especially not to one of our AFC West rivals. I would have a conniption if it did. So, Tom, at least do me a solid, man. Make an attempt. But God, please just keep the guy out of the AFC West if we don't get our hands on him. Anyway, moving right along. Couple other things I wanted to touch on today. Good old Joe Lombardi. We haven't delved too deep into him, but, the general consensus is that the guy's gotten kind of a bad rap for his stint as an OC with the Lions. And I mean, of course, I look back on a few things, tried to check out some stats and see exactly how our guy Matthew Stafford did when Lombardi was calling the plays over there. And what do you know? 14 and 15, those 2 years, Stafford had some ascending efficiency ratings. I mean, they were higher than the years prior, so he didn't necessarily get worse. And I think in some facets, it was some of his better numbers of his career up to this point. So, I mean, at least we know that we have a guy that has a general handle on things, and maybe the scheme just wasn't a great fit for Stafford and what they were doing in Detroit at the time. But, got a whole different animal wearing number 10 out there in LA, sharing the stadium with Stafford. And this kid is different. And by different, I mean better. Sorry about that. Anyway, I can be petty from time to time. Now, moving along to some really awesome stuff that I saw out there in Charger land. Some flicks of the guys in the weight room pushing some weight around. And as some of you know, I am a fitness enthusiast. In a former life, I was a personal trainer, former athlete. So I am all about pumping iron regularly. Some may call it an addiction, but whatever. It's how I get by. Don't judge me. But man, there was one pick in particular of Mr. Nasir Adderley, and that dude looks like he has premium tickets to the gun show. Sir, congratulations for the work that you are clearly putting in. Now let's see if that translates to the football field, because I think you have it in you. So go out there, and you and Derwin, just bust some heads, man. That's what I want to see. That's what we've all been waiting for. When we made that pick, we were looking at the two of you guys potentially being the best safety tandem in the NFL. And there's still a chance for that to happen. And I think it will happen. And that is the shamelessly positive hat that I'm wearing today. Again, don't judge me. Argue with your mom. And lastly, I want to kind of chat about some surprise cuts. My personal opinion of a guy who's probably on the hook is going to be Steven Anderson because, I mean, as we all know, Chargers bought in Jared Cook. They're furthering the development of Donald Palm, so we expect him to do better and bigger things this year. And then, you bring in Trey McKitty. So what exactly is Steven Anderson's role? He was horrible on special teams, so can't count on him there. Anyway, fellas, talk to me about who you think the guy who's probably on the ropes or who has the least chance to make the team going into this season, who should be maybe updating their resume for their next spot. Anyway, and by the way, I want to send a special thank you out to Karen at Karen Love Sports and Jen at Jennifer Mills 21 for doing God's work and helping the Bolt fam around the country get their hands on some of the apparel and other items out of the team store. I personally didn't send any requests because I knew you ladies are probably being bombarded and I don't want to be a part of that. I know it's probably a little stressful. So thank you for all you're doing. I might reach out soon. I think they're making it available online soon anyway, but I don't know. I'll figure something out, but I got to get my hands on some of that stuff either way. But again, you know what it is. Bold gang or don't bang. Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Craig. I love that experience. That was a good experience.
You know what? Busting makes me feel good. As soon as I heard about head busting, man, bring it on.
Nasir's looking jacked, dude. He looks like when I first looked at the picture, I was like, okay, I can't really tell who they are. And then you touch the screen and you see who's tagged on every stuff. I'm like, oh my God, is that Nasir Adderley? What happened to him? Did he get stung by 1,000 bees? Like, what happened?
All in his arms?
Swole. That bro swole. So, yeah, it's excited to see. He took it seriously this offseason, and hopefully he's ready to roll.
Good.
Bust some heads.
Good. I hope so. I mean, with the way that Brandon Staley has been talking, I hope these guys are just like, they're pushing that extra mile because of Brandon Staley and this coaching staff and the potential of this team in general. Like, who doesn't want to be a part of this team? Like, I don't know. So good to see them putting in the extra credit work.
I'm going Badgley. I think Badgley's the high profile cut. I don't think he's going to make the team. Just with what he's unable to do. I say it almost every episode, but his inability to kick it out of the back of the end zone on kickoffs is just like, I don't know how you support that.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't even do kickoffs.
I don't even know how that's a thing. If we're trying to improve everything, that's an easy improvement. So I'm going to go with Badgley.
I think the loaded positions, obviously, like he said, is tight end. We have it's kind of getting crowded in there.
Yeah.
But I think wide receiver too. I don't know if it's like a big name necessarily. I was excited about him when he drafted him, but I think KJ Hill is going to get the cut.
Yeah.
Especially depending on what goes on with this Julio thing. But I think it could go even higher too up on that depth chart. So yeah, we'll see. And then there's certain fits like scheme stuff. Gabe Neighbors, that would be detrimental to Justin Herbert's health, I think, if Gabe gets the cut. But
yeah,
do we carry a fullback?
Part of his lease term on his apartment is that Gabe Neighbors has to be on the team as long as he's a Charger.
That's where the no trade clause is.
Buddy. Yeah, it's in his contract. Gabers goes nowhere, or he pays him out of pocket.
Gabers,
I like
Gabers.
Gabers.
Did I say Gabers?
You did. I like that name though. Bring out Gabers.
Bring out the Gabers.
Yeah, I think you're right. You got to look at those loaded positions, and I mean, running back is certainly one of them. The Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, I would lean more towards Justin Jackson, but I could also potentially see that if there was going to be a trade to Atlanta as far as getting Julio Jones, the one type of player I think that you could trade to them that they could accept would be a rookie that's still on a rookie contract, somebody that's not going to break their bank. I know they don't have much bank to break, but if they were to acquire somebody, if them acquiring somebody like Joshua Kelly or acquiring KJ Hill, I think is a possibility where it's like, okay, they're still on the rookie contract. They still, they could have something to prove and could be, an addition to Atlanta without them completely pulling Julio out of that scenario. But yeah, I think those are kind of the easy names. I think we might get surprised though. I think there's still going to be some surprises when it comes to the final 53-man roster. So, all right. Well, now it's time to look on over to Ask Bolt Fam. And we start this one off with X Carnage X, who asked the question, didn't have time to, God, it's all right. Just accept that this is a bad impression. Didn't have time to get the awesome scenario question ready, but not Chargers related, but how well do you guys think Tebow was going to do this year? Kind of excited to see him back on the field. Oh, and also, the Raiders.
He sounded like a ghost.
I'm sorry, folks. I don't do a good Hank Hill impression. So, all right.
I like Stump the Wool Dog. That's a new segment when they can stump you with the voice.
It ain't hard, trust me. But Hank Hill is certainly one of those voices. So, all right. So not Chargers related. Tim Tebow.
Hey, dude, Tim Tebow. This is such a confusing signing. Like most of the players are pissed off.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like he's been so out of the league for so long. There's so many players that probably have better, lineage to being on a team or making a roster. The fact that I even made a joke about it a long time ago on our joint podcast with all the other podcasters. It was like, I'm going to bring in Tim Tebow and he's going to be our backup quarterback / something. And what happened? You know what I mean? It's just absolutely crazy. The only reason why this might work in my head is that if he's trying to take off all the publicity and pressure from Trevor Lawrence. That's the only reason why you do this, because the only thing anyone's ever talking about on Jacksonville is Tim Tebow. And you can use that to your advantage. Like you can take some pressure off of your new star quarterback that most of the time should be getting all the questions and everyone's talking about him. And he's kind of flying under the radar right now, very much how our boy did last year. So I don't know. I'm flabbergasted by this.
I know
Kyle clearly doesn't agree with me, but I'm flabbergasted.
No, you said it was you didn't understand the signing. It's Urban Meyer's guy. Like it makes sense.
No, I just don't understand.
To me.
It was such a joke. I made a joke about it. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like it's too silly.
Well,
like, it's just, I don't know.
I think
brand new position, playing for the first time in the NFL at 33 or whatever he is. It's crazy.
Tim Tebow going to play in trying to become a Major League Baseball player is ridiculous.
Right.
Him trying to play football is not ridiculous. Have you seen this man since he's been put on like Pat? The guy's a monster.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
There's no one that works harder in the NFL than Tim Tebow. I promise you that. And when he came out of college, everyone was like, dude, you need to be a tight end. You need to be a tight end. Convert to a tight end. You're going to be a great tight end.
It took him 10 years, but he finally saw the light.
But he came around. So
he's stubborn.
I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro. I'm not saying he's going to be catch
on the
80
roster
balls this year. He'll be on the roster. They're paying him under $1 million a year to play. He's going to be that guy in the locker room, like you said, takes the attention off of Trevor Lawrence. And there's no better team guy. They still play his pump up speech from Florida. No one has ever talked ill of a teammate as Tim Tebow. He'll be on the team. He'll play special teams. He'll get some reps here and there if things go well. I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he'll be decent. It sucks. It does suck.
Enough.
The idea that he's taking somebody's roster spot that has tried their whole life, and here he comes in. He gave up on his Major League Baseball career, which I think was ridiculous. But now he's back in a sport that he's actually good at.
Right.
I don't think it's that crazy. It's kind of crazy, but not that crazy.
Right.
It's pretty fucking loco, man. I don't know.
It's pretty wild. The take that I've seen, and I wish I could credit who came up with this, but I saw this and I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. Is treating him like a Taysom Hill out of New Orleans, where he is that tight end, but could also potentially be that surprise quarterback that could come in and make a couple throws here and there to kind of throw the defense off. So I think it's an interesting experiment, and I think there's no better time to do it than right now at Jacksonville. You get that first year out of the way. If it works, awesome. If not, you know what? It was this is that transition year. Yeah, he could just be that decoy
took
business.
Some pressure off of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
if anything.
All right. Well, excellent question. Thank you, Carnage. We move on now to Okie Doggy, who asked the question. Dan Hutt. All right, ladies, listen up. Before we do our formations and drills, I understand that there are concerns with the so-called sophomore slump that people expect our quarterback Justin Air Bear Herbert might have this season. While I do think he might regress, it will most likely be because he will be finding a way to balance everything out so that way he can not only be MVP in his second year, this year like Lamar Jackson and Kermit the Frog, but also lead us to our long-awaited Super Bowl. But enough of that subject. My question for you maggots this week is, what concerns do you have with the team if it's not Air Bear? Is it something to do with a certain position group, a particular coach, a certain player, front office, etc.? And I expect some type of answer, so no finding loopholes. Now that that's settled, what in tarnation is this insubordination that I'm seeing from the Duggan brothers? I expect you guys to be better duo than the Bash Brothers of 1986 and the Splash Brothers of 2015. But don't you worry. Once I'm done with you, you will like the way you look, and if I fail, I expect Craig to whip you into tip-top shape. So f*** the Raiders, f*** the Donkeys, and f*** the Chiefs the most. Now drop down and give me 50 push-ups.
Whoa.
Need a sip of something after that one.
Okie doggy. Well, I'm sorry we're not living up to the Bash Brothers.
My goodness.
Something to work on. We appreciate,
something to work on.
Something. Yeah, done.
I'm stunned. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Okie.
Constructive criticism's good, but it kind of hurt my feelings.
He kind of kicked me in the dangly newts there, Okie Doggy.
Right, the dangly newts. Yeah. Okay. Noted. Work on it.
Screw it. Yeah. MVP, Super Bowl champ, Hall of Fame this year. It's happening.
Done.
All right.
Yeah.
So
knuckle puck time.
Yeah, knuckle puck. Let's go, bro. The Bash Bros.
All right. Well, let's focus on the question and not the criticism. Do you guys see any issues with the team as it is? Obviously not just in Herbert, but are there any positions or position groupings, I guess, on this team or even players that you're concerned about?
This is my kicking episode. These questions are leaning into my kicking and special teams problems. I'm excited we have better leadership and all that, but I'm still just terrified. Like, I'm just scared when we punt the ball. Like, and it's gonna, like, I'm just like a cowering, like, animal that's just been beaten so many times. Like, I'm just scared of it happening. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just scared. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the day where I'm not terrified of punting. So that's my big position that I'm worried about. Am I stressed about our personnel? Not really, because I think we've made some changes and have some new people in place that'll be good. But I'm just, the overall concept of being scared of that portion of our team is still hangs in my brain.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one thing that's just maybe unproven, I don't know if that's a good way of saying it, but our edge rushers, outside of Joey Bosa, there's just not like that like strong, we've done this before. Like Uchenna's had some glimpses, but then didn't really play much last year. And we all have a lot, like, we think he's going to do great, but we just don't. Like, it's not been proven yet. Right. Kyler Fackrell had one good year. Chris Rumpf, like, we have some guys, but it's just we haven't seen them do it before. So, like, if I had to say there's one position group that I'm just like, I don't know. It should be great, but I don't know. It should be good, but I don't know. I think it's that edge defender position.
I don't necessarily have a concern with this position, but it's like, it's the new coaching staff. Like, everything that we've seen this offseason leads me to believe that this is like the dream team of coaching staffs. Like, this is where it's going to be. But at the same time, like, there have been 0 games. Like, we don't have anything to compare this to. These are all, it
still
should
in the
work.
Period.
Yeah, it's still just on paper. We've not seen this actually put to practice yet. So I have nothing but the highest hopes that this will be amazing.
I hopes.
Well, Doug's got high hopes. He's got high apple pie in the sky hopes. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Okie Doggy, for all the constructive criticism and the question. We appreciate it. Over.
We're working on Kyle. Bash Brothers.
Boom. All right.
Knuckle puck, flying V, all of it.
Yeah.
Moving on now to Coach Lago.
Quack.
Oh my God, I can't move.
Sorry, take it to Lago.
Coach Lago, who asked the question. Coach Lago, I think wanted a impersonation. I don't know that I'm going to do it that well, but I'm going to give it my shot. So this might be another bad one. So you see, you got the a coach is just the guy whose best classes in school were recess and PE. Okay, now here we got a guy, Brandon Staley. He seems to have done well in those classes, but we'll give him some time. So who's the best coach in Bolt's history right now? That was my best Madden. I apologize to Coach Madden. I think you're one of the best in the league, and yeah. Okay. So
yeah, that was good.
That's cute. Yeah.
So best coach in Charger history. I think that's an interesting question. I think there's two that jump off the page, but
the one for me, I think he's just changed the NFL in a lot of ways. Was Eric Coryell.
Mm-hmm.
What everything Coryell did with our team, and Dan Fouts and all that stuff like that. He's like on the Mount Rushmore of Charger coaches. So I think that's, he's a bit older. And if you're a newer fan, it's doesn't resonate as much, but he was legit and he changed how offenses treated the passing game.
Yeah.
So it was fun to rewatch those games, and go through some of the older stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I have to go with Marty Schottenheimer.
Of course.
Just the stories that we've continued to hear about the kind of man he was and the coach that he was, not only on the field, but off the field, and being a part of these guys' lives, and hearing LT, arguably the best Charger of all time, speak so highly of him. You don't do that unless a guy is a great coach, not just X's and O's, but coach. So I would have to say Marty Schottenheimer, hoping Brandon Staley overtakes that.
Exactly.
But right now, yeah, Marty.
Don, Marty, and Brandon Rushmore would be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I would agree with the Marty as well. I think just based off of the stories that he has just been so influential as far as that era of the Charger team. And Eric Coryell, I mean, that's he needs to be in the Hall of Fame from everything that I've read about him.
Shafted.
I know, that's what I keep reading. Is like,
you got to get that shit together.
He needs to be allowed in there because of everything that he did. So, so I think those are two easy answers, but I don't think you can really come up with the better answers than those. So, thank you, Coach Lago. We move on now to Zach Marincic, who asked the question. Typically, people had mostly good things to say about Rayshawn Jenkins. I just rewatched a game, and it seemed like all he did was miss tackles. I think he's got to be pretty overrated. What does Coach and the crew think? I don't know. I think that's kind of harsh on Rayshawn, basing his entire career with the Chargers on one game.
Yeah, well, he was playing out of position. We talked about it all.
Yeah,
offseason.
exactly.
He was asked to step up and fill a role that he wasn't really, set to do. So, there was going to be struggle, and that's why we were excited if we were going to get him back, that he could step in and play next to Derwin at the level that he was, before. So I don't know. It's hindsight's 2020, but he never really was on my radar of like, oh, this guy's a problem.
No.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was overrated. I don't think really anybody gave him that much credit. I think he was pretty well rated for what he did. He wasn't ever going to be your Derwin James, your superstar, but I think he did a good job at what we asked him to do. Yeah, and like we said, he played out of position a lot last year. He was not that strong safety position is a different beast. And he played free when he had his better years next to Derwin. So I don't think he was overrated. He got a pretty good contract there with the Jags that clearly we weren't willing to match. But yeah, I think he's a good player. He's going to be a good guy. He's not going to be, I don't know if he's going to ever be like a Pro Bowl or all pro type guy, but he's a solid he's a solid NFL guy.
I would just be a broken record saying it again and again. Like he's playing out of position. Like when he was playing with Derwin was probably his better performance. But when Derwin's not there, you got to have somebody fill in for Derwin's spot.
He just makes everyone look better. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He just makes so he's not going to have a Derwin James on Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'd be curious to kind of follow him next year and see how he does.
Good follow up. We'll see if he was overrated and didn't deserve that contract.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Zach. We move on now to Ed Boyum. And shout out to Daniel Llewellyn. You both pretty much asked the same question, but I'm going to give it to Ed because he made a request for a voice. It goes something like this.
Crikey! Do you think we keep 4 running backs and neighbors on the roster? Who, if any, is the old man out? Also, do you think anyone from that group has any trade value? What do you expect to get for, say, Joshua Kelly or Justin Jackson, if anything? I'm going to go jam my thumb in his butthole. Whoever it is, he's getting a big old thumb right up the pooper.
All right.
It's a loaded question because it's like trade value. I don't think Justin Jackson has much because you're gonna have to pay him a shit ton of money next year. You're gonna have to pay him more money than you'd have to pay Joshua Kelly because he's on a rookie contract.
Right.
So if you're gonna trade anyone, I don't think Justin Jackson, anyone's really gonna take a shot at that, just with injury history and the fact you're gonna have to pay him soon. So I would lean in just Joshua Kelly as trade value. Probably not much because he wasn't able to prove a whole bunch last year. That's why I think keeping him on the roster is a better move for us because I think he has great potential and I don't want him to find that other somewhere else. But in terms of the running backs, I think one of those guys is gone. I'm really not. This Justin Jackson, man. I'm just concerned with the injury, and there's newer, fresher blood in there. So that's kind of where I'm leading. And like you said, that we haven't seen any preseason. We haven't seen any of the stuff. So we'll find out pretty quick because those are the guys that are going to be playing in the preseason. You're going to get a quick look at how they're doing, how elusive they are. How much contact they're making, because I think you're looking at Roundtree, it's a little different vibe. Him and Joshua Kelly are a little more pound the rock than Justin Jackson. So it'll be an interesting thing to see.
Mm-hmm. I think that Larry Roundtree, we brought him in, he knows that special teams is likely where he's going to play a lot.
Right.
I don't think he's expected to be that day one guy, week one, getting a lot of snaps. He's gonna have to earn his spot. So I don't know. I don't really see any of. I don't know who you cut. They're going to be on the roster if they're active and suited up. Maybe not all of them, but I don't think we cut any of them. Like you said already, Kev, we're not paying any of them. They're all on rookie contracts except Eck, and obviously Eck's not going anywhere. So
and you can't get rid of Neighbors because he's on the Justin deal.
Running backs get dinged up, man. Like last year, we had to bring in guys because there was just nobody left.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone gets cut. They might not all suit up on Sundays, but they'll all be on the roster throughout the season.
Yeah. I foresee possibly either Jackson or Kelly going to the practice squad, but not necessarily getting cut per se.
I don't think you can put those guys in the practice squad because somebody else will pick them up. I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah, they have to clear waivers or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever. If you try and put those guys on a practice squad, they'll never get to the practice squad.
All right. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But thank you for asking the question, Ed Boyum. We move on now to Anchovies21, who asked the question.
Out of everything that's happened this off season, what is the one thing that you look forward to the most for this upcoming season?
I mean, we're looking forward to everything, right? Like everything old is new again. Like this is all just like new, fresh, everything now.
I'm looking forward to the first tailgate and the first game. Like that's the most immediate thing.
I'm looking. It's Charger season. We're 0-0. Everyone is excited for everything. I think most this year, apart from everything else, is going to the games. They're back open. We get to go see SoFi, get to watch these guys play in person. That's what's most exciting. And obviously, selfishly, we have season tickets now, so I'm pumped to be able to go be a part of that culture up there. But yeah, I don't know. There's not anything I'm not excited for. Like I'm pretty pumped about the whole team.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. There's nothing to not be excited for. Like there's competition in positions that we're questioning or concerned about. We know the guys that are coming back: Justin Herbert, Joey Bosa, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, like Derwin James. Like these are all names that's just like, dude, if these guys stay healthy and they're on the team, like we have a shot. So there's no reason to not be excited about any of that stuff. And then to have it all be led by Brandon Staley, who is talking the talk right now. We're excited to see him walk the walk. So, I can't think of anything not to be excited about. But going to those games is going to be the big kicker. To go from a season of no fans to a stadium full of fresh new fans as well. That's another thing too, is like there's new faces that are joining this team as far as a fan base is concerned, that is going to be like, damn, like it's going to be a full stadium. I'm calling it now. Yeah. It's going to be a full stadium of Charger fans. So
a full Charger, you think I hope you're right.
I mean, like, you're obviously going to see sprinklings of opposing teams, but
I so hope you're right. That would be the most.
I think this last season did it. I think because of Justin Herbert, you that turned that tide. That made that difference.
Well, Julio Jones comes too. That's big for just the LA crowd wanting to be there. You know,
I need to drop my mic if that happens.
Yeah,
that'll definitely.
That's the big. Good. That's what kind of like from a business and attraction standpoint. That's what we've not had yet. Was hey, we're going to LA, so we have more money, so we can splash the pot, and not really splash the pot yet.
Not yet.
Keeping guys, we kept Joey, paid Keenan, paid Dak, but like, there's not been that big splash the pot guy yet.
Come on, Tommy KJB, put all your chips in.
Don't let us down. Don't let us down.
Splice the pole.
Splash it. All right, we move on now to Brian Gago. Brian Gago, I'm going to say it that, who asked the question.
With our defensive front looking to make more pressure on opposing QBs, it's very likely that we see an increase in interceptions. Who do you think will lead us in interceptions this year?
So here's what I think. We ran a lot of zone stuff, so it's kind of you're not going to throw at this guy, so this guy's going to get more opportunities. I anticipate a little bit more man coverage this year. So what happens? Man, that's tough. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna throw out Mike Davis.
Take a shot.
I'll put my money in on Mike Davis.
I think that's fair.
He's a good man guy. Really long, goes and plays the ball well. So I'm gonna go Mike Davis.
Yeah, and he's not new to making interceptions, so I think that's certainly in his wheelhouse.
In my head, I was just like free safety, man. If you have a guy that can fly around and they get really creative with, Nasir could be big. I don't have enough faith yet to say he's going to lead the team in picks.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. It'd be fun to see Asante Samuel Jr. just go out and be a dog and intercept everything. But
there you go.
I think it's more likely that it's Davis. I think that's a better answer for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason we're not saying Derwin is because it's Derwin.
They're not going to throw it.
They're not going to throw it to him.
No, he's going to be rushing the passer as much as he is in coverage.
Yeah.
So it's.
I'll say Nasir. I think if he's this is that opportunity for him to really show that he needs to stay on this team. So I think our
defense will be amazing if Nasir Adderley has all of the interceptions. I'm just going to say that right now.
That would be like that would be a sight to see for sure.
That's one of those guys stepping up to perform at what we want him to perform at. If he's doing that and leads the team in interceptions, we're feeling good.
Yeah. I'll say Nasir. So that just seems more fun. Thank you, Brian. Gago. All right. Gago. All right. We move on to Dwayne Ray, who asked the question.
Sup, boys? Man, the Raiders and the Chiefs, but I think I hate the Broncos the most. Double them. I taught my kids to say go Chargers and boo Broncos when they were little. Which rival do y'all boys hate the most?
Raiders, easy answer.
Yeah,
I gotta go. I gotta go Chiefs, dude. Just because I live in it. I've been dealing with them for the past 11 years, and I was never in full close proximity to Raider fans. Like they were always peripheral, or my dad kept me away from them.
That's the only game that I'm like, I don't really want to take my wife or my kids to.
Yeah,
they just suck. You know, like
same with
the Broncos. I went to Denver. They treated me very kind. They were very sweet fans.
They were very
The Broncos are good people. The Chiefs, they were kind of, but we were also very obnoxious in that game, so I'll give them a little bit of leeway. The Raiders straight up at our own stadium come in and are just the worst people. Yeah. So like, no,
have you ever had Raiders. A Raider grandma like just kill you with her eyes across the supermarket? Because I have, and she wasn't a Raider fan. She was a Chiefs fan, and she let me know it. And I'm not having old people staring me down like that shit. That's not okay with me.
You're in their territory. Like that's a different thing. What if you go to if you were in LA and you see an opposing team, you're not going to be like, oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're going to give him a stink eye.
She's a grandma. She's supposed to like everyone. What are you talking about?
Old and grumpy.
She's on her way out. She don't give a
you remember Grandma Patty. You remember Grandma Patty very well. She used to root for the other Pop Warner team because she felt bad we were beating them so much.
Well,
that's the kind of grandma we're talking about.
She also tripped our little sister in a Home Depot because she was running around too much. So yeah, grandparents are unpredictable.
Patty, she rules. She was the personification of awesome grandmas.
Yeah, I don't know. All that to say, I hate the Raiders the most. Kevin hates the Chiefs the most. And Adam, you gonna go all in on the Broncos? Round us out?
No, I haven't really had any issues with the Broncos. I would lean more towards the Raiders just because they are the flashiest as far as like Chiefs fans, Broncos fans. Like you get a handful of like, oh yeah, they're definitely fanatics, but like Raiders fans, man, like they're just obnoxious.
Belligerent.
They are belligerent, and then they can get a little violent too. I think that's an unfortunate maybe a stigma now that they have that
their team, like not even just their fan base, their team just sucks. Like they always have the most penalty yards every single season.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like dirty players that aren't nice. I don't know. I just don't like them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would lean more towards the Raiders.
Meanie heads.
I know the Dolphins are kind of climbing up my shit show list. They're really starting to piss me off.
I mean, they're not our rivals.
They're just outspoken, and they're so wrong about their quarterback and how bad they think ours is.
Bengals.
Right.
The Bengals are not that bad comparatively.
The Vikings.
Not even that bad compared to these stupid Dolphin fans.
Kevin's just all in on his old Tua prediction.
Herbie's
feels so
mama.
bad about it that anytime he hears anything good about Tua, he's like, "Oh God!"
No, but like Herbie's mama on Twitter, follow her. She's awesome. Herbie's mama literally had to like shut down her account because she said like one passing funny thing about how Tua's not that great. It was about that him getting a deeper voice thing. She posted about something about that, and like she's getting like violent threats against her.
God.
Like, fucking Dolphin fans suck.
Too. All right. Well, within the division, Chiefs for Duggan, but if you look outside the division,
high on my shit show list though. Dolphins, watch out.
Dolphins are up. All right. Let's move away from from that and let's move on over to Aaron, aka Vrabel56, who asks the question. Not a question. I just listened to the last pod. I would like to add that tailgating before primetime games is a completely higher level of energy because you aren't taking shots at 8 a.m. Am I right, fellas? Too bad it's against the bandwagon California-born and raised Steelers fans.
That's a good point. I haven't really been to I haven't been to any primetime games as an adult, so that's true. The drinking at 8 a.m. is that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a commitment.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little more natural. It feels better in primetime stuff.
Sure.
You can throw down some mimosas. Mimosas are good, but it's not like, being manageable later in the day. No.
Not the same.
Kevin and his mimosas.
Yeah, we'll be looking for the mimosa tent for those morning games. But
we're just gonna have one of those giant like coolers with like a little handle, like shooting mimosas at people.
No, we'll get a camel pack of mimosas for sure.
Yeah. Beer bong mimosas, get ready.
Kevin and his mimosas.
But we're looking forward to it. So
I don't even like mimosas.
Thank you, Aaron. We move on now to Jamin. Might be Jamin.
This is new.
But this is
new.
A
new one.
Yeah, a new one from Jamin.
I'm excited. Come on, Jamin.
Who asked the question. What's up, my friends? Not sure if Ninja Tom will make a move on Julio from now until your next podcast, but I would very much like it if we get him to give Herbo more weapons. However, if not, I wanted to add on to what the Craig Experience said last episode about Devontae Adams. I have been telling my friends that next offseason or even this midseason, Telesco will go the full ninja and get Devontae like Chris Chambers in 2007 or next offseason. And to make us even more scary, get Jalen Ramsey next offseason because he wants to play with his homies Darwin and ASJ. My friends say 9-9. But what does my CC friends think? Okay. Love you. Bye.
So funny. Dude, we've been like every week somebody new comes out swinging. I love it.
Yeah, that's a pretty beautiful future if that's what ends up happening.
Dude, if you're able to get Devontae Adams,
it's like
and
it's hard
Jalen
to go
Ramsey
down that rabbit trail. Yeah, it's hard to go down that rabbit trail because where do you stop? And like Where does cap space become an actual issue in this
exactly
world?
And let's just throw like Chase Young into the mix as well. He can sit on the other side of Joey Bosa.
Put him on top.
We only have 4 people on defense, but they're good. They're
right,
really good.
Yeah, we'll go get Joey Bosa's brother. Just bring them all.
bring them all in there. Just make it a family affair.
Just a Pro Bowl team.
I mean,
I don't know.
If the Chargers can have a not just a good season, like if the Chargers win the Super Bowl this next upcoming season, I think that opens up the doors for people to want to come and play with us.
They're not going to take pay cuts, though.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like the intrigue to get them to come at least becomes a lot more enticing as opposed to like, hey man, help us win one. Whereas, hey man, we just won
I will say this. Just from a financial advisor point of view, it is not a good idea to be on the Chargers California sports team just because taxes in California are quite high. So if you're playing in like Texas or Florida, you're making a lot more money on that contract because the government's not taking it, and that'll be your financial.
You're getting a lot more take home.
But what? Okay, so here, financial advisor Kevin, do you get taxed on where you play, not where you live?
State.
Right. So half of your games are in California, but the other half are somewhere else.
Yes.
So it's not as big of a hit. My point is, still come to the Chargers, all of you guys that are listening.
I'm not saying don't come. I'm sure they'll give you some kind of great tax break or something, but that's something no one talks about. Is like I remember watching, was it Braden Fajoko? He posted on Twitter, just got my first NFL check. Where did it all go? he posted that like beginning of last season. It's like, wow. You don't think about that. You see like $5 million a year. You're like, yeah, they make $5 million. No, they don't. Yeah, not even a little bit, especially in California. Nope.
But yeah, there's no way these guys. I mean, I won't say that. I'll be shamelessly positive. It'd be great to get them all.
Yeah.
But if we could even get one of those guys that you mentioned, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome to get just one of those. And oh man, yeah.
Or Julio. I don't know. I'm on board for any way of improving Justin.
Of course,
killing power.
Yeah. Give Herbo some. Not just more targets, but better targets.
The amount, like, if Justin does what we all hope he does,
much money
in 3 years, we are gonna have to pay him so much money.
Oh yeah,
all these guys that you're talking about as signing him now, they have to be on 3 years or less deals,
right?
Because we will never be able to afford all that crap. So I don't know. I don't know all the money. I'm not a big numbers guy, but we'll see.
But we're all for it. We like the idea. We like the concept. So. Thank you, Jamin. We move on now.
Yeah, dude. Keep them coming. That was a good one, bro.
Big
Those
time.
are fun.
That was fun. Let's move on now to C. Densley11, who asked the question. Everything seems to be in place for the Chargers to go all in to push for a championship in 3 years. New coach, the Wunderkind. Herbert on a rookie contract. Bosa and Keenan locked up long-term. Extension for Derwin coming as long as he stays healthy. New look offensive line with best center in the league and 2 reliable starters at guard. A miraculous draft securing top talent while still keeping cost control at high-value positions. 6 most cap space remaining in 2021. 2022 cap space set to increase more than 10%. My question is, what moves would you make to turn this into a championship team in the near future? Not what you think Ninja Tom will or won't do. What free agents or trade targets would you set your sights on? What might you offer up in a trade package? Where do you see room for upgrades this year and in the next few years?
Yeah, Kyle has got the deer in the headlights going.
This is why I'm not a general manager. Dear God, I'm just worried about like the Cowboys game.
I'm worried about tomorrow in Julio Jones news. That's what I'm worried about.
No, I want 2 years in the future. Give me ideas.
Okay, I'll give you a quick one. Okay. Right now, you can immediately the quickest way to improve our team is to get Julio Jones because you have the ability to. So I would go get him.
Right.
The second one is Derwin James, getting him locked in. You mentioned Derwin in this. Like, I know he's been hurt a lot, but you need to try and extend him before he has a monster year and he's way too expensive. Because then you're not getting any of those things you want that we had talked about in the previous question. So those are the ones I'm looking at right now that are immediate needs. We're going to have, I think weren't you saying there's like 21 free agents next year? It's something
It's
crazy.
another big list. Not
so like I remember we looked at the list and
one.
was like, oh God, let's just pretend we didn't look at that until next offseason.
Right.
Because it's just like there's so much
there's a
moving and shaking.
I think that what makes us that great franchise is going to be our depth.
Mhm.
You know, so like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know a lot, like the depth in the entire NFL and who we need to bring in. I just know the depth is going to be the issue. All of our starting pieces are here for a while. We have our quarterback for a long time. We now have our left tackle. We have our right tackle on a couple of years. We have a center on a long-term deal. We just signed one of our corners to a long-term deal with another corner rookie. Derwin, obviously, we just extended him, so he has a whole nother year. So it's like all of our key positions. Joey Bosa, we just signed to a huge deal. Keenan's on a huge deal. It's like the pieces are there. To me, it's all about depth. Like, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna lie and say, hey, we need to go get this guard out of Houston that has had a low-key great career. I don't know. But it's going to be what Tommy T ninjas for our depth. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going to make us that team that can win a Super Bowl.
Right. I think you're 100% right.
Special teams depth covers up injuries.
Yeah. I think you're 100% right, because you can't just have a roster full of all-stars. Like, there's no money to spend for all of those types of positions. So getting those guys that are not just serviceable depth, but like they're ready to play, like, and they can bring something to that position, I think is 100% the way to look at it, is beefing up not the all-stars, but those second, third stringers. Make sure that those guys, they're not just ready to go, like they are ready to go.
They're not just ready to go, but they're ready
they are ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about.
Your body's ready.
My body is ready. Excellent. All right. Thank you, C. Densley.
That, Kyle. That was a good one.
All right. We move on now to Mugsby Wugsby, who asked the question. The Los Angeles Chargers are your 2021 Super Bowl champions, becoming the only second team to win a Super Bowl in their own stadium. Led by Hollywood Herbert, the Chargers gave the business to redacted. With a final score of 42-14, Brandon Staley and the LA Chargers have arrived. How are you celebrating? Tattoos? Whiskey? Women? All of the above? Find out.
Oh I love the shamelessly optimistic nature
I'm
of
all
this
for
tweet.
it, yeah.
I don't want to jinx anything, so let me.
Yeah,
this 42-14 Super Bowl W would,
chef's
that'd be the
kiss.
most fun game. Just like low stress, beat the hell out of them, no questions, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, I think I'm going straight to the tattoo parlor and then seeing if my wife wants to hang out with me.
Woman, singular. Yeah, I'm also on that singular woman.
Yes,
a woman. Yeah, there's no in, there's an an.
There will be whiskey, and I'm always down for tattoos. You guys know I already threw out the Penne Sul O, which didn't
land. Yeah, I'm all. I'm all for a tattoo. I mean, it's going to be Celebration City, regardless of what happens. Like
for 8 months until.
I think I'm going to be on a tour. I'm going to be on a celebration tour.
Yeah,
where it's going to be a full year until it's going to be so much fun listening to this podcast. If that happens.
We will be the defending Super Bowl champions for an entire year, and you're going to hear about it.
Hear about
every day.
It hurts my heart to even talk about.
I'm knocking on this because I want that to happen so bad.
Yes.
Don't jinx
it.
What
if Mugsby Wugsby just had the biggest bolt prediction of all time?
Mugsby Wugsby.
If you hit this, I'll get your name tattooed. If we're
there you go,
Super Bowl champions.
Jeez. What a dude. Done.
There you go.
I'll do a Mugsby Wugsby. If he hits 42-14 Super Bowl win, you're getting a Mugsby Wugsby had a bear on my arm.
I love it. All right. Big bolt prediction from Mugsby Wugsby. I love it. Thank you for showing back up again. We move on now to shamelessly positive Ryan. Hey.
And I just want to call him out because he reached out to us and was like, you guys cool if I just changed my name to Shamelessly Positive Ryan? I'm like, yeah, dude, we don't have a trademark on that. That's all you.
Dude,
we love it.
Yeah, not only are we cool with it, we insisted.
If you want to put an SP somewhere in your name on Twitter, we'll know who you are.
Ooh,
the Shamelessly Positive.
The Shamelessly Positive Brigade. I like it.
Brigade. Ooh.
All right. You've got a question, and it goes a little something like this.
If you had to choose one QB to lead the Bolts, would you rather have Philip Rivers or Justin Herbert, and why?
Why are you trying to make me cry, dude? Why are you trying to make me? I can't answer that.
It's a tough question, dude.
What about Paxi? What does Paxi have to say about it?
I know.
Bring
My
him
son
in here.
just walked in.
Paxi, let's bring him in here. What does he want?
Paxton,
what does he
Phillip
think?
Rivers or Justin Herbert? Who would you rather have at quarterback? Phillip Rivers. He's all in. I've indoctrinated him.
There you go.
Get him over here. He's got to. Can he say it? I want to see
3
him
years
on the
at Phillip Rivers and only one of Justin Herbert. So that's
understandable
hard for a whole lifetime. Yeah,
that's understandable.
The problem is, I love Phillip Rivers with all my heart. And I'm also just infatuated with Herbert. So I'm going to plead the fifth on this one. I can't give you an answer.
Wow.
It would be unfair. It would be unfair.
Man, lead the Bolts. They're both great leaders. Like, if anything, Justin Herbert has proven that he can be a leader, but
he won't give you the sound clips that Phillip Rivers
not
will.
yet. I mean, he's had some good ones so far. The I was in is pretty.
This is so hard.
Pretty good.
Like, did you ever see Keenan playing golf with Phil? Like,
No.
I just think that there's a dynamic to their relationship now. Phil, like, okay, well, I guess it depends. Like, this dude, we could go so many different ways. What age Phil are we talking? Like Phil right now versus Herbert right now?
Right.
Or are we talking Phil in his prime, Herbert in his prime? This is the loaded. This is too loaded for us. It's hurting our heads and our hearts. We want both. I want Philip to be our QB coach with Justin Herbert as the quarterback.
Ooh.
Final answer.
I like that.
Final answer.
Final answer. I want both. Final answer.
I want
Not the question, but final answer.
Yeah.
I want the whole world.
Yeah. I'll take
Rivers and Herbert and QBs and touchdowns. I want all the touchdowns. Give it to me now.
Yeah, I'll move Philip up to offensive coordinator and Justin Herbert
Fun.
QB.
Fun.
See you later, Lombardi.
Yeah, sorry, Lombardi. We hardly knew ye. But
we hardly knew you.
But thank you, Shamelessly Positive Ryan. Great name. We love to have you on here. And we take out Ask Bolt Fam with Dirty Sock 101, one of my favorite names, who asked the question, honey, can you hand me that chocolate milk on the counter there? No, don't spill it. Oh, jeez, you spilled my chocolate milk. Well, I guess I'll just ask a question. It goes like this. Would you rather commute to work with Phillip Rivers and his 9,000 kids, or face Linval Joseph in a sumo wrestling match? Hang on, I gotta go now. There's chocolate milk all over the floor.
That was the most Morgan Freeman, who just dropped his chocolate milk on his wife's new rug.
Dropped his chocolate milk. Son of a bitch.
So specific.
That's gonna stain. Get me the club soda.
I'm not trying to get murdered, so I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers' 9,000 kids.
Linval Joseph is physical pain. Phillip Rivers is like some
it's
emotional
just psychological,
and
mental
distraction.
pain.
Yeah, but like I have 2 kids. I can tune them out like with the best of them. So yeah, I'm doing it right now as we record this podcast. So I can take the Phillip Rivers and his 12 kids.
Yeah.
Linval Joseph sumo wrestling. No, thank you.
Although
it's a good story.
It's a great story.
Be a good story.
But that's potential suicide. Like, would you rather, stand at the open end of a cannon and get fired at, or would you rather just endure some screaming children running around? And I think it because that those are the Phillip Rivers screaming children.
I don't know. You gotta imagine Phillip Rivers' kids are pretty disciplined.
Yeah.
Or
Some
they
dadgummits,
talk
some
just as much
jolly
shit as he does.
That's
And
true.
they're always
Oh,
talking
my
shit
God.
to each other.
What?
that'd be
That's what I would
sweet.
love to see.
And I heard a 2-year-old say, hey, Ron! Fourth down? I think you get more. I think you get better stories out of Phillip Rivers and his 9,000 kids. Whereas Linval Joseph, you're just like, hey, you want to know how I lost this arm? I sumo wrestled Linval Joseph.
You want to know why I limp the rest of my life?
Yeah. You know why this is a glass eye? Linball Joseph.
I should have picked babysitting that Friday night.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But great question, Dirty Sock 101. And thank you, everybody, in the Ask Bolt Fam questions for reaching out to us. You make every episode what it is, and we appreciate that so much. But that's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat. Folks, don't forget to bolt up, because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Let me guess. You made a bet with your friends that you'll get a tattoo if the Chargers win the Super Bowl, and now you don't know where to go. Let me give you some advice. Take your ass over to Mugsby Wugsby Tattoo Parlor. They'll make sure you leave with a tattoo you can be proud of. So do it. Go to Mugsby Wugsby Tattoo Parlor and get yourself some fresh ink today. Tell them Mugsby sent you.